I like how you did the acronym PACE. How did you tie that into positive attitude changes everything? How did that come
well, you
about?
getting stories out of me today because you're my guy.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man.
I would never tell this. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is a true story. Okay. I was going through a divorce. Mm-hmm. My ex-wife at the time took some checks.
Brandon's mom?
Yeah. Okay. Took some checks out of, and she was smart because she took them out the back of the checkbook. Right. So I didn't know they were missing. Okay. So all of a sudden I get a call from Bank of America in Regions, a $5,000, I think a $10,000 check. Right. Did I authorize it? I'm like, no. Right. So at that time, I called Regions the next day. Mm-hmm. They sent a check back. Right. Bank of America said they had to do an investigation. Right. Okay. So a few weeks later, I'm in Dallas. I get a call from the security guy from Bank of America, mm-hmm. and he tells me they're not gonna return my 10 grand. What? I'm like, sir, but she wasn't on that account. Right. He said, well, what happened was back when we were together, she may have paid a light bill and used my signature. But he said, so if by me allowing that, it never what's the name? That was like me authorizing her that she could do it. Right. So I was upset. Mm. Could have been hot heading down. Right. Right. So I said, you know what? They were living in Houston at the time. Mm-hmm. I'm getting ready to go to the airport, jump on Southwest. I'm gonna go to Academy, mm-hmm. get a baseball bat, and bust the windows out the car because the car she's in was in my name. So I said, I can't go to jail for knocking out my own car windows. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Go to the airport, going through the line. TSA guy sitting there, 70-year-old guy, gets my license. He look and say, Lester Pace, positive attitude changes everything. I say, excuse me? Your last name Pace, right? Positive attitude changes everything. That was a message from another source, right there, yeah. From the man above, and told me, and I looked at him, I took the license, and I left and went back.
Pace.
Positive attitude changes everything. Believe in yourself and soon you can set your own pace. Positive attitude changes everything. Believe in yourself and soon you can set your own pace. Positive attitude changes everything. Believe in yourself and soon you can set your own pace.
Welcome to PGTV Podcast, where we bring you real life stories from real life people, one episode at a time. Today is an honor and a privilege, a double up if you will, so be prepared and be ready. I have a scholar, a trailblazing, trend-setting entrepreneur who has made it possible for a lot of artists that we know and love, covering all the South as well as other regions. Directly or indirectly, this brother has had his hands in helping those artists who were independent ascend to the major level of music. This brother has always been a genius to me. And I have to be honest, by way of my own ignorance, silliness, I did not know the genius that he was. And in my mind, I elected to hug the streets a little bit more than I should have. And I see a lot of youth doing the same thing. So it would be an honor and a privilege to listen and understand that sometimes when you have somebody who have your back, who has a vision, it doesn't have to be your vision. It just has to be a vision. That's a real vision that can help you get to the next level, because we don't know everything and we have to trust the process. So this brother has taken the likes of Lil Boosie, Gotti, D4L, and if I'm not mistaken right now, Mariah Carey, if you will, Mariah Carey. Can you imagine the likes of that? A brother coming from humble beginnings in Houston, from 90.9 when he stood on business and let them know, man, this is what's happening right now. I have what it takes. Although you can't see me because I'm not where you are right now, I have what it takes. And this brother opened the eyes of the program directors from many levels and many different radio stations, on to be an owner of stations. We're gonna get into that later. But I wanna say that I'm here to welcome my brother, my friend, my mentor, my homie, my buddy, my first guiding light who believed in me with my music when I didn't realize what I had. My brother, Lester Pace. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
Welcome, man.
Thanks for the introduction.
Hey, man, it's real, man.
Hey, man, I feel good, man. I'm like, wow, I
real,
definitely
bro.
appreciate that.
You had an impact on my life from Rainbow, bro.
Wow.
I was able to see. I remember when Brandon was a baby in the car seat,
Right.
and Marco brought me to you. Said, "Man, my boy got something," and you was moving, man. You was grooving, man, and you were making it happen at this place and this time. I remember when you accidentally screwed down a record,
Right.
and I heard it because we used to go over to Daryl, because Daryl Scott was about the only tape store that you could really buy tapes
get the mixtapes from, right?
You know, and before he became the tape store, he was just selling them.
Right.
So, and I remember hearing the guy that Face always talk about, "Are you game?" bumping.
Right.
And then the Mantronics and the Fresh is the Word was coming out of the speakers of all the guys who was on the Trues, Vols, Elbows,
and rolling on the slabs.
Deuce and Park and McGregor Park and those times, man. I would like you to share with me, man, how you began to just know that music was what it was, that was supposed to be what you were doing. Even with being at KTSU all the way on through, what was it that made you knew that you love music to even convince that program director?
Well, to start off, to be honest with you, I don't think it was that I loved music. Back in high school when hip hop, rap first came out, Sugar Hill Gang, I used to sit at home with my tape recorder, found the instrument, and just rap the Sugar Hill Gang lyrics. Okay. So we used to do that. So then I was going to school at Smiley, and at that time, a friend of mine by the name of Melvin Dewalt. Melvin Dewalt and this guy named Anthony Watson, known as, and we used to call him Antonio's Earl. And I got to give those two brothers, especially Mr. Watson, because lyrically, incredible guy. I mean, he went to Smiley with us, so we started this little rap group in MB Smiley. Matter of fact, for the talent show, we rapped in the talent show. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of the people back then laughed. We came out in the white silk shoots and everything. But at that time, I started rapping. But at that time, you know, those guys was using that yes and, you know, using that voice and stuff. So I was doing that. And then one of my teachers asked me, did I ever think about being a disc jockey? So she asked me about that. I said, no, I never thought about being a disc jockey. She said she was going to reach out to this lady. They had a show called Kids Jam, which I didn't know anything about. But she reached out to the lady Pam Collins at KTSU and told her about me, because I was doing the morning announcement. But also, I was working at McDonald's. And anybody on the north side used to come through McDonald's on Little Yard. I used to play and DJ on the mic when people come through drive-through. So when people used to come through drive-through, I hate to do this, but I guess I'm gonna do it for this interview, only for y'all. Never do this again. So I used to be able to say, "Welcome to McDonald's. This is Lester Sir Pace. Have your order, please." And so the people come through the drive-through and say, "Was that you back there?" I say, "No, that's just a recording." Whoever talks on it sound like that. And so they come through there and they'll say, "I'm looking at the menu. I'm trying to decide what I want to get." I said, "Well, we got Big Macs, quarter pounders, French fries, apple pies, chicken nuggets, chocolate shake, scrambled eggs, and hot cakes. Decide what you want to get today." So people used to come through there. Used to come through McDonald's drive-through and say, "It's the DJ." So I'll be cooking, and they say, "Lester, can you come answer the microphone?" For the people in drive-through. So they start putting me in drive-through and everything like that. So I took that. And then when the opportunity came to go to KTSU, I would go there I don't know if we want to keep going into this story or just answer the question.
No, just however you flow. Just flow with it, bro.
I started going to KTSU where they had this show, the Kids Jam show. So what it was high school kids that were running the show. So at that time, Stacy Porter, her brother Charles Porter, her dad was Charles Porter Sr., who used to be on the news, Channel 13, and he was the general manager for TSU at that time. After he left TV, he was the general manager for Texas Southern Radio, KTSU. So we were taking over the show from Saturdays from 10 to 2. It was an opportunity that it gave kids to have the experience of being on the radio and learning radio. So at that time, when I got there, R&B was big, and I was into hip hop. So and in the first 6 months, I never got a chance to be on the radio. Only thing we did, we watched, and then at the end of the day, when the show was over, you could say your name. Hey, this is Lester Sir Pace.
That's it.
So finally, what happened? They had a TSU parade one Saturday, and nobody wanted to be on the air. Everybody wanted to go to parade. I didn't care about that. So it was my first opportunity to be on the radio and play the records and the music. So I always came up there with my bag, 25 or 30, 50 records that I would want to play.
Your playlist.
So that Saturday, I get on the radio. I play. I always say this: Stacey Lattice or Ray Parker Jr. stuff we were playing at that time. Then all of a sudden, I get a hip hop record. I put it on. Then I put another one. And back then, we had a hotline, which was a red phone. The phone would ring, be the program director, Pam Collins. Lester, quit playing all that rap music. Take that rap music out. Right? So next thing I go play a couple more of their records. I say, oh, she not listening now. I slip in a record and then another one. And every week she would get on me about that. So to move forward, we one Saturday, I had a discussion with Pam. We say, the people want to hear more hip hop. And she said, and so she said, I tell you what, we had a show called Be Yourself, which came on during the show. They gave, and I love the show because it gave us, it was like a talk, like what we're doing now. It gave high school kids a chance to talk in whatever subject they were talking about at that time. So that Saturday we decided to just vote, should we play more hip hop or more R&B? So we went to phone lines, went up, and man, it was like 3-1. Everybody said more hip hop. And so then Pam took the chains off of me. And that's when I was able to go ballistic. And at that time, I was just always looking for, and back then it was nobody like record reps working me or anything, telling me actually to play stuff. I would go, back then we used to go to the record stores. We had one on the north side, and shout out to Carlos at Sound Waves. We used to go to those places. And also, crazy thing, DJ Premier used to work at Sound Waves. And they'll tell me all the fresh new hot stuff because back then, you gotta realize those records, 12 inches, like $5 or $10. And you couldn't listen to them in some stores. You just have to, oh, that's a Tommy Bar record. So I just have to go off of instinct. It's $5 to get home and play the record. Like, oh no. But the beauty of Soundwaves, Carlos, Premier, and then would play the records for we listen, and that's how I would get my music to go back and play at KTSU next week that was coming up. And so that's when everything started to fall in place for me as a DJ, because back then, you know, my parents used to tell me and everybody first, I worked at KTSU for free. It was we didn't get paid then. But sometimes I tell people, you got to learn how to put in, everything is not,
it's like
you have a
vision.
You have to have that vision that you can see farther than what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I tell everybody, I worked at McDonald's, that was my job. DJing was my hobby. Once DJing started paying me money, it became my job. So then I can pull away from working.
Venture out into what you really love to do.
What I love to do.
Well, man, you've done it well, bro. And I don't think that over the course of time, a lot of people know, but a lot of people don't know. And I think it's important. It will allow a lot of new people to understand how to move, to know how others have moved for them. Because even with the start of being at KTSU, the hits you had to take just with getting in there for the program director to allow you, that allowed others to see you and offer you opportunity to, hey man, come do that for us. Come do that here, because it's a brilliance there. And that brilliance and that determination led to others being free enough to have access to live out their dream, from the Boosies and the Gottis, because you took that wisdom from going through the Rainbow days and the KTSU days and packaging it into a blueprint, man, a strategy, because you already had the ear for music. You knew how it should be played and you knew what should be played. So you was already basically A&R and then programming back then.
Exactly, programming on the show.
It's just who you are. And you know, some people can recognize it and don't know what it is. It's just something great. But I remember before I took myself off the map, I think it was one of the times when we were on the road, and when you had just went into working with, I think it was The Box, and then you were working with Rap A Lot, because a lot of our shows were participating with the Rap A Lot. And we had a lot of grooves. I don't know if did y'all have other artists, or I was like the first artist or something?
No, you're the first artist there,
So now just imagine if my wisdom or vision had have been anywhere in the ballpark of what you saw and knew. So sometimes we could, like some people say, you could talk yourself into something, you talk yourself. I got myself in and got myself right on out by way of not understanding and not trusting. It's called ignorance. And today,
But you got to understand, ignorance is not a bad word.
No, but
ignorance
it's just
means just not knowing.
Right,
exactly.
And I'm understanding how, because you got to realize you went and I went to D Block. I went to D Block, and in there, I mean, you know, sometimes certain people in life have to be handled differently because God had a plan, or the Most High has a plan for you to develop into becoming who and what you should be. Yours was that way, mine was that way, but we're here now talking.
Right.
And I can just see in this age, as the times are changing and becoming digital, you staying even with that wave, man. You riding that wave. So let me ask you this. What made you know or drew you to want to continue up the radio stream? What made you want to continue radio, and why not go into owning a record store, or tape store, something like that? What made you?
Well, just be, I did own a record store.
Okay.
Me and, matter of fact, I got my friend Michael Watts here.
Okay.
Me and Walter D had a record store on the north side off of Laurie Copy called Sound Express. Okay. So me and Walter had started as Sound Express, and shout out to Jay Prince, because Jay Prince gave us funds to help open that shop. So me and Walter, that's where we started selling our music, but also where Michael Watts came and sold his mixtapes out our store.
Was it a barbershop right there?
Yes,
too?
next to it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, a beauty shop, barbershop.
Okay, I remember that. Okay.
So I started that in, and through there, left from the record store, how I got to the music side.
Okay.
And the way I got from, just to give you the transition, I left KTSU and started working at KISS 98.5.
Okay.
Steve Hegwood, a well-known program director in the industry, had called me from KTSU and gave me a job on the weekends at 98.5.
Right.
So from 98.5, started mixing at 97.9.
Okay.
And then one day Jay had asked me, had reached out to me, asked me to ever think about being on the other side of the business, being a record rep, which I had no expertise to know anything about.
Right.
So Jay brought this guy by the name of Mel Smith in.
I remember Mel. That was the time when we were
just coming around. Yeah.
I remember him. I remember him being around.
Right. So it was Mel Smith, and so Jay brought Mel hired me.
Okay.
And brought me over and started teaching me the music, radio marketing game, and everything. And so I got to that side. So I always got to give a shout out to Rap A Lot, to Jay Prince, Leslie White, Carlton,
I remember Leslie.
And Mel, because I learned a lot over there for the music side. And one thing I did love, even Bruce, who was running the general manager at the place, they allowed me to go through the road, and I went to all throughout the South, radio station, meeting program directors, pushing the Rap A Lot material and product at that time.
And making the way,
so that opened that opportunity for me. And then going back to one of the questions you saying about what made me want to see about keep moving. See, I tell people, either you change or you get exchanged. Okay? You do change or you get exchanged, meaning if I sit and say, well, we used to do that back, I go with that, whichever way I see how I can get in and make it better. You know what I'm saying? And not try to fight things, because just like we was talking earlier about the new technology, the industry changed, so you have to change with it. And you can bring some of the things from the past, but you got to see how I can
coexist with the new.
Convert this over to this new thing. And go from there.
Because you can't bring an 8-track to the CD world, and you can't take CD to the digital world. And that's something. So how did you getting into management or promotion, finding the need for artists that needed the next level help, how did that come about for you?
When I left Rap A Lot and started working for Interscope Records, I left Houston and moved to Memphis. So at that time, I used to go to radio. In Memphis, we had Radio Day. Well, all of the reps would come in. If this program director saw radio reps, he had a certain time, he might have a 2-hour slot. You come in here, you go sit in his office, you play your music, and do your presentation to tell him, why your record deserved to get a slot on the air. So a lot of times when I used to go to meet this guy, rest in peace to Bobby OJ.
I remember hearing that name.
Yeah, so Bobby, do you have a guy out there waiting to come in and present his music? But he was just a little local guy.
Never get
and then so they would go in and present their music, they never would get it on. So I said, this is something I need to look into. I said, first of all, would you go to court without a lawyer?
Right.
I need to be that lawyer. Like for the artist, you come to me because I have a relationship with this guy.
Right.
I can go and talk to him and tell him why he need to play this record, or find a situation. So that's where I got into that angle.
And by then you had built a credibility and a reputation and a name. So you were somebody that they could take serious when bringing these artists material, unlike the lone guy sitting in the office. Who's he?
Yeah, he
should get the trash over there.
Well, think about when you go to court, that lawyer already know the judge.
Right, exactly. It's a relationship.
Already know he know everybody in that courtroom already.
Exactly.
You coming in there, you know what I'm saying? So your opportunity, it's not that good.
It's reduced.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring the percentages up.
Right, exactly, exactly. So I like how you did the acronym PACE. How did you tie that into positive attitude changes everything? How did that come
well, you
about?
getting stories out of me today because you're my guy.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man.
I would never tell this. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is a true story.
Okay.
I was going through a divorce. My ex-wife at the time took some checks.
Brandon's mom?
Yeah. Okay. Took some checks out of, and she was smart because she took them out the back of the checkbook.
Right.
So I didn't know they were missing.
Okay.
So all of a sudden I get a call from Bank of America in Regions, a $5,000, I think a $10,000 check. And did I authorize it? I'm like, no.
Right.
So at that time, I called Regions the next day. They sent a check back.
Right.
Bank of America said they had to do an investigation.
Right.
Okay. So a few weeks later, I'm in Dallas. I get a call from the security guy from Bank of America, and he tells me they're not gonna return my 10 grand.
What?
I'm like, sir, but she wasn't on that account.
Right.
He said, well, what happened was back when we were together, she may have paid a light bill and used my signature. But he said, so if by me allowing that, it never what's the name? That was like me authorizing her that she could do it.
Right.
So I was upset. Could have been hot heading down. Right. So I said, you know what? They were living in Houston at the time. I'm getting ready to go to the airport, jump on Southwest. I'm gonna go to Academy, get a baseball bat, and bust the windows out the car because the car she's in was in my name. So I said, I can't go to jail for knocking out my own car windows. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go to the airport, going through the line. TSA guy sitting there, 70-year-old guy, gets my license. He look, he say, Lester Pace, positive attitude changes everything. I said, excuse me? Your last name Pace, right? Positive attitude changes everything. That was a message from another source, from the man above, and told me. And I looked at him. I took the license and I left and went back. Didn't even make that thing. Right. So that was the spirit.
Yes, sir.
I call it the source that came in, and I started carrying that acronym with me and put it in everything and go from there.
Oh yeah, that was a great inspiration right there, coming from an older guy too.
Right.
That's somebody who's intuitively tied in.
But just think about how could this guy know just to change that pace into that at that moment, just anything, just not seeing it,
Right. It's the high, like you say, the source coming through, man. It was for you.
Right. It was for me.
Because had you carried out your mission, ain't no telling where.
Exactly.
They can always tweak it to make it go against you.
Exactly.
So it was a blessing, man, in disguise. So with that, who were some of your favorite acts that you helped get to the next level, that you seen something in and say, hey, I could work with these guys, who were really trying and may have been that representation, they didn't have the representation like you were saying on the sideline, the guys that needed a lawyer? In that time coming up early enough, how did you know, or rather, I guess I reframe it, how did you know who deserved the help and who didn't?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes it's not who you know, it's what you like. And being a DJ, you felt the music. You know what I'm saying? So use example, Scarface.
Right.
Okay, Shortstop Records, Lil Troy. We the first one. It's funny. I saw a face on Tom Joyner cruise, and I want to thank him. He gave me flowers that night. He said I was the first one to play his song, Mr. Scarface, on the radio.
KTSU, right?
On KTSU, on Kids Jam. So seeing them, and back then, if I didn't like your record, I wouldn't play it. It wasn't nothing you can tell me. If I just feel
it wasn't nothing you could do with
what we can do. There was no form of pale or none of that kind of stuff going on. That you influence and everything like that. So it was just so many great records when the UGKs and those guys coming up there back in the day. I can't remember the guy he had who UGK was signed to. He had a record store in the flea market.
Was it Big Time?
Russell, yeah, okay. Russell, and so they, being able to break the people, you didn't know UGK was gonna be who they were, right? We just local. We just, hey man, these records are hits,
Funny thing, I did not know you used to rap.
Yes.
I didn't know you knew K9.
He was in our rap group, man. Delton Polk. I'm sorry to be there.
You remember this buddy he used to be with Baby Duke? K9, Baby Duke.
Right.
We used to be rapping. When you was at the Rainbow, I never knew the tie-in. Cause like I say, the circles was so small, but I remember when K9 Baby Duke, they did the first that we saw as a video. They were rapping together.
Right.
And it was K9 Baby Duke, but he was going by, it started from K9, he started being Sir Rap-A-Lot.
Sir Rap-A-Lot, yeah.
Because I never knew all that time that Thelton was Jay
brother. That's where Rap-A-Lot came from.
Right, but I never knew because I was around him and Duke all the time because Darwin, I don't know if you know, Scott used to ride motorcycles. He got a brother named John. Me and John was tight, and John had introduced me to Baby Duke and K9.
Okay.
Because they were all boys, but John came over to our side over in Studio where we lived. And we was hitting the skating ring and rapping and stuff. So I never knew
that group that I was thinking about the other guy.
Right.
We was first there, then K9 came in and rapped with us a little time at the time. So I forgot enough. Forgive me for that, but K9 was there too.
So when I be seeing Jay say his brother Sir Rapper, I never knew that was Thelton. So that's a small world. So I remember, I don't think it was Wicked Cricket. Polo, was it Polo?
Polo Cool. Polo was the one that got me the job at Rainbow. Yeah. Okay. So Polo, when I was working on KTSU, Polo came up to the station one day. He said, Lester, man, you ever thought about DJing at the skating ring? At that time, be honest with you, I was just becoming a DJ. I wasn't just a DJ on the radio.
Right.
I wasn't a DJ that went out and did clubs. I just had records just to go to radio stations. Didn't have any equipment, none of that. Right. So Polo said, man, if you come to Rainbow, man, you'll blow this place up. Right. So Polo set it up. I went there and man,
back from there.
It was history for what we did at Rainbow.
Man, y'all had a deep DJ crew up there. Jazz Red, King T, King T went on to be with
he was Terry T then.
Terry T-ski.
Yeah, Terry T, Terry T, King T. We had them. I had a lot of guys that came up there. Marcus Love.
Marcus Love,
Luscious, a lot of those guys that came around.
Okay.
And do it because at that time, me and Walter used to battle first when I got over there because he was at Super Skate.
He was at Super Skate, right.
And so, they had the crowd.
Right.
And so they were like, when we first started out, we had little people, they ain't got nothing.
Right.
But then I started making them commercials about Rainbow and all these other kind of
I remember.
And started making things. So all of a sudden,
I remember.
We brought Bobby Jimmy, LA Dream Team, and we used to shut down Tidwell, man, whenever, just on those nights.
Man, right when Rainbow was getting good, it burned. Because I was going to Sam Houston, burned down, man, and it was like all our little fun was gone.
Everything. All my equipment was in there when it burned that time. Yes, I lost everything.
Wow.
Records, everything. I had to go back and rebuild.
Wow.
So can you imagine your host, all of your stuff getting burnt up, and you didn't get any insurance money, anything. You had to go back and start from scratch and everything.
Hey man, now when I came home after being on the hiatus from citizens, I ran into Joker Man. Man, I thought I was finna come home and Marco finna kick. Man, I didn't know Marco had an accident, man, and passed. They was coming out there to connect with you, right?
I had talked to Marco a few weeks. He was telling me about Joker, man. He said, Lester, I need your help, because at that time I moved to Memphis and I was working with Interscope Records.
Right.
And so plus doing the big thing, independent side. So he was gonna bring down them to come see me. So they were coming on, I think it was on a Monday.
Right.
All I know, about 5 o'clock that evening, I get a call and say, Lester, somebody, I can't remember who it was, called me, say, Lester, Marco's supposed to come see you. I said, yeah. So, he got killed in a car wreck last night. It messed me up for 2 or 3 weeks, man. Just a long time, man. And just the fact that somebody on the way to come see you and they lose their life, And rest in peace to Marco.
And what's so ironic, right around that same time, either right before or right after, his wife's brother was murdered, execution style.
What?
Yeah. And
wow.
That was my buddy, Vincent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, that's something I don't know.
That was on some, it was on some other level stuff, you know, but yeah, so that was a
wow.
detriment there, man.
Well.
Yeah. So now with the acronym, set PACE, positive attitude, change everything. What allowed you to make the mindset to start the PACE promotion? Was that a part of seeing the lawyers there,
or
is that something totally different?
It was setting the PACE. Marketing promotions came from when I was in Memphis. One of my guys who came and worked my street team, Ricardo Hunter, told us that we needed, probably to do our own thing. So we decided that we would start helping a lot of independent artists. I always tell them, be independent, but major.
Right.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? You're independent, but you need to have that major look.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of us become independent. We just think, I'm gonna do it now. Make the look major, you know what I'm saying? Right. And be major in your area, you know what I'm saying? Treat that, like I just tell artists, and I use Yo Gotti as a situation. Ricardo started telling me about Yo Gotti. And say, man, this kid out of Memphis, Yo Gotti, man, he hot, man, blah, blah, blah. And, at first I know, got my eyes okay and stuff.
Right.
But then, so I listened to his music, and then what I love, and I always give his credit to Gotti. Gotti was one of the artists that I always say invested in themselves.
Right.
I have artists, big major artists that I've sat with that have been on major labels, but once they leave the label, they're afraid to invest in themselves. Right. They're always looking for the major. Right. So Yo Gotti would come and say, Pace, what is it gonna take to get this record here? And what he did at that time, Yo Gotti would put enough promotional money to work Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, that whole South. You know what I'm saying? And each year he got bigger and bigger. And then Gotti would say, what he needs, he said, I go do 2 or 3 shows, and then he'll invest money back in himself. So that separated him from just being an artist to becoming a businessman. Taking understanding the business, and he watched and learned everything and kept taking it to that next level. He's one of the few, of course, when I worked with Cash Money.
Was he signed to INTERSCOPE at the time?
No, he was signed.
So he was just
he never signed with INTERSCOPE. He was with TVT and other independent acts, and then once he got, he went over to Epic. Was the last one.
So you were basically just showing them how to have that major look.
He was independent. Just like you look at. That's why I got respect for the Slim Thugs, and people like that. Knowing the independent game, the Watts them, you know what I'm saying, the Swisher House and everything like that.
Right.
And that's where my next goal would be, is to really help artists pushing independent but major. You know what I'm saying? Right. And see, most of the time, artists, to me, I treat this game like a baseball team. Most artists want to come in and go to the majors instead of going to the minors first.
To the D League.
You go to the minors and you play in the minors till you start back 350 or 275, and now you can go to the major level. But we want to jump and go here when you're not ready.
You can burn yourself.
So that's what I've been doing. My R&B artists, I'm
gonna get to that too. But I love that, man. That's a great move. But I noticed you were saying Cash Money. So you was able to help those guys as well with marketing?
I got a great relationship with Slim and so on. So even when back in the day, Trill, when they came out with Boosie and Webby, we worked their records independently before they got a deal. So it's a lot of artists that I've worked their music independently or with their team before they got a deal and went places.
Right. Okay. So how different is the R&B spectrum from the rap spectrum as far as getting it into the ears of people? Is it received differently or received, better, or is it just?
I think what happened, and no disrespect to the music that's out right now, when the higher ups at these major labels quit signing talent and start signing numbers.
Right.
In other words, they would just see a record that's streaming 5 million a week or 3 million a week. But a lot of those records, the artists are not, you can't even think about them right now. They had no longevity because it wasn't just talent. It's like back in the day, I always used this record as a, That's My Baby Daddy was a record. Back then, that was a novelty record for us at radio. It was for what it was gonna do, but then we were done with it. So the labels have been signing the Chris Browns, the Ushers, and putting time. You think about Usher when he came out, Usher didn't blow up to 5 years, 7 years later. Even you look at the Yo Gotti. I started working Yo Gotti stuff in 2001, 2002. Yo Gotti really started to peak on a major label 2010, 11. Because at the whole time he was building that brand, and guess what? To go
further
from there.
Spread now.
So with the R&B stuff, now I think R&B is coming back. I don't think it never left. I just think the labels and the people pushing haven't been really marketing and promoting themselves. And I don't even blame the labels, because right now I tell artists all the time, they want to come and say, I want to get my record on radio. I say, first you have to build a house on a foundation. You have no foundation. Every artist coming to me is one of you, just you, and it's 10 million other people trying to do the same thing. Each week there's over 300,000 songs that are being put out through Spotify or on the DSP.
Some of them just be up there.
But that's what I'm saying. So, and once you get to my thing, I'll tell you, that's why I tell you, you have to market yourself. And the first thing, you have to build a foundation, and I'll give you some pointers as we get to my my R&B artists, but those were the things that they're not doing.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that I'm going independent and I'm gonna do it like this, but they don't have any money. They don't have knowledge to even play a role for the lack of money to even be able to make certain movements. It's just, I want to go independent. And then a lot of people, music is not even, whether you were major or minor, it's just not happening.
It's not there,
so I see that it has to be doable. Like you say, you have to like it. If you're not liking it, who can help? Your lawyer don't like you. You know what I mean? So I think right now, like you say, it's becoming a numbers crunch or a numbers game. Everybody just throwing what sticks.
See what sticks.
And it's not, it's taken away from the actual talent or the actual, if you just microwaving stuff, nothing has staying power. And that's even to give a credit and a test to the Michael Watts, who even still right now can keep doing. If you put tipping on 4/4s on right now today, people finna lose their mind. It's almost like to back that ass up type thing. It's got staying power.
And speaking of that record, that was another record I worked.
Oh yeah?
I'd worked that record for radio when they came signed with the guys, Joey IE and those guys came to me and took the record all the way and everything. So that was like one of my favorites. So you actually liked it because that was home. I felt a part of that. You know what I'm saying? When they I was like, yep. So
and you have an ear for stuff coming in and out all the time. So you know what's doable. You know what
I'll be honest with you, not today.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying,
people,
just over the time.
I have artists, people come to me and say, what do you think about this record? I say, if I like it, it might not work.
Because it's not of the time. It's not right here with what they do.
You know, but the thing is, I can still stay in the game. See, it's not because I don't get my feelings called into something saying that this is not hot. See, the people, where most people mess up, the people have to decide. You know, and now you get the analytics easily by what you put out there. I tell people all the time, they'll come to me and try to push a record. I say, put it out for 5 or 6 months. Look at your analytics on Apple Music for Artists, Spotify for Artists, and see you got an album, you pushing this song, they got 3 or 4 or 5,000 streams, but here's a record that you're not looking at, got 25,000 streams. That's what the people are listening to. So you have you got all the analytics right in your hand, but people don't use them. You know, it's like
I don't think a lot of people understand it. It's almost like today people say, hey, you need to invest in stocks. Looking at them things is kind of intimidating to people who don't really understand what stocks are. It's like you finna go into a matrix
and be
like, whoa, what is, I don't know where to start, so I'll just go over here. So I think because I be going behind the scenes on YouTube when I post a video, and everything is there, but you still have to learn it, you know, and you have to have the time and the patience. You have to have the dedication, because once you get the dedication, you'll make time. And then you'll start understanding what you're seeing within making the time, but it has to be a process. So, but a lot of people get intimidated, and that's why I think that, like you say, they just want the major to do it, because, oh man, I don't want to do no work. And if you, whatever you want, you gotta work.
Well, I think I tell everybody, even as independent, you don't have to necessarily have to have a manager, but you need to have a team. Okay? You don't get a manager when you ain't got nothing to manage. Okay? So first of all, the people on your team need to have a job, a specific job, or something they're good at.
Right.
Like right now, if I came in sitting in this room with you now, and I'm say, you know what? I need somebody to do videos at the park. I come.
Right.
You're good at what you're doing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Report,
so find a team. You find somebody who can go out and do the digital side, know how to buy ads on Facebook, Instagram, and put all those together, because that's the foundation.
Right.
Okay, it's all about eyeballs now. Okay, it's all about eyeballs, and that's why YouTube does so well now. And most people don't realize they go worrying about, and this is just some notes for anybody out there that's listening. They'll go focus on Apple Music and Spotify, but when my artists, I look at our biggest check come from YouTube.
Right.
And the reason being, most people don't spend money on an Apple Music account, and they're not gonna spend it on Spotify.
And they can go up and you listen to it on YouTube.
They listen to it on YouTube for free.
Right. YouTube is like the mothership right now. It's like the suite for all things. Because your Spotify's and all those other things is YouTube. Because with YouTube, you can have a blank art and just listen to music playlist if you want.
And you can have a visual too. You can have a visual too.
You have a choice.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you can scroll through and you can, because the Google and the YouTubes are neck and neck. So if you look up something on Google, it's 9 times out of 10 gonna take you to YouTube.
Because it's owned by the same people. That's why they bought them.
So that's a blessing, and that's a plus. Now, Jay Howell, man, when I first heard that dude, I thought that was Elder Bars. I'm like, how the hell did Lester get Elder Bars? That boy can blow, man. How did you find the mindset from being pretty much hip hop or rap to see the talent or the knowing the ability that you could help this guy get to where he's trying to go within the realm of him being R&B?
Well, first of all, I just like good, whether it can be anything. If it's musically and I think it's good, whether it's hip hop, R&B, whatever. If I think I see some talent, then to go there. But to make this run through this story by Jay Howell, one of my business partners, Lena Falk, and her husband Lex, I was moved to Atlanta, but I used to go back and forth to Memphis because I still had my home there. And Lex had reached out to him one day, hey Lester, you need to check out this guy R&B and this producer, man. They cold, man. You need to come check them out. So I'm like, man, I don't allow so much money. I ain't messing with no artists or anything like that. So he's like, check them out. So finally, one time I went home, he asked me to go check him out. So I went to REID, who's the producer's house, and met him and Jay Howell there. So they played his song, which is the first song on his R&B album called Love Me in the Morning. I heard it. I'm like, man, this sounds like a female. I'm like, with these notes like this and everything like that. So I told him, I said, man, look, turn it down. I need to hear you sing this. He sung it, so I was impressed. So at that time, I wasn't working for a label. So I started calling my guy Azim, a few other people, started sending his music out and everything. So everybody thought it was cool, but didn't get any feedback. So what happened, L.A. Reid, I was in Atlanta, my friend Lionel Ridenhour, we were getting ready to start being the radio marketing team for L.A. Reid for his new label, HITCO. So when L.A. Reid was signing artists, we in the studio, and they had people coming in on one day, and they had one more day left. And I heard these people, I say, man, I got Jay Howell. I said, I need to bring him down and see if L.A. Reid likes him. So rest in peace to my guy, Chubby. Chubby was there. He was the A&R guy. I said, Chubby, can I get this guy from Memphis to come down and audition tomorrow? He said, yeah, have him come in. So I called Jay. I said, hey, we hadn't talked because things just kind of went slow. And I said, hey, man, you still know me? He said, yeah. I said, hey, can y'all come to Atlanta tomorrow? I said, I got a session with L.A. Reid for this company, HITCO. Jay was like, Pace, man, we ain't got no money to get to Atlanta. I said, bro, I cash app you. He said, we ain't got nowhere to stay. I got your hotel. So they come in, and Teray has this on the video. So crazy part, L.A. Reid, we listen to artists in the back room. He'll come shake your hand and say, thanks for coming. So they leave out. So I go get Jay and bring them in. So at this time, that's my phone.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So at this time, L.A. Reid plays one of his records. And then the next thing you know, he goes and listen to it. Then we play the second record, which was Love You in the Morning. So L.A. Reid listened, then he leaves out the room, comes back, and listens to it again, and leaves out the room. Then the third time, he comes back, and this time, he stands in front of the board. Right. And to me, you know how you're in the studio, if somebody go on the board, they really want to get the feel of the sound. So he did. I thought they were going to get signed. Moved fast. They didn't get signed. They were kind of disappointed. I was disappointed. And at that time, I told them, man, I said, I really like y'all. I'm going to try this. Right. And so they had over 60 records that they recorded, never put out. Right. And I'm like, dude, why y'all not putting this music? I said, we don't think we're ready. I said, forget that. Tell you what, I'm going to come in and manage you. Right. We ain't going to sign no paperwork because I'm the type of person like in a relationship with a girl. Right. Hey, if you want to be with me, I don't want to be with you. Right. Okay? Right. Ain't no going through that. So I say, that way y'all can see what I can do and I can see what y'all do. If things don't work out amicable, then we can move forward. Right. Okay, so we put out the Red Room and crazy, a week into it, somebody calls and said, Joe Budden played Talk on his radio show. We like, really? Right. You know, I ain't doing any marketing, anything, or sending it to him. Right. So we did that, and then I had to teach them, and the point I was telling them is having a team. So I told them, let's take a record radio. Like, no, nobody listen to radio. Nobody listen to radio. I was like, okay, you guys put up this much marketing dollars. I'll put up the other from my end. Right. So I'll do 2 to 1. For every $1 y'all put up, I'll put up 2. Right. Okay. So they did that. We did some radio marketing campaign. That sound did okay. Then we dropped Something About You, and I took that on the mainstream radio, and it blew up for them and everything.
And so these are the songs they already have.
This song, this couple of them they made before we put the Red Room out. Okay. The rest of them were already done. Okay. They recorded Talk. No, not Talk. They did anyway. They did a couple other songs, and we put it out. Right. So, and that's what I did with him. And then the other thing I did with him, instead of taking him out, putting him on, letting him open up at festivals, I needed to see how many people would pay money to come see him. See, a lot of times we go, oh man, I'm at this festival with 10,000 people, but how many of them paid $1 to come see you? Right. So I started finding venues that hold 200 or 300 people and see how many tickets he can sell. So we did Memphis. Can you sell your first seat out? Memphis, sold it out. With Atlanta, at the Space City Winery, sold it out. So I started building his fan base up now to where I think I got him at now. We got to try to see how we can take it to a bigger level, which is what we're working on at this time.
So is it safe to say that to a degree, that part of you, that's what you were doing when we was going to the place? You was doing that same thing.
Yeah, pretty much the same blueprint.
You had that My Hit Is Tight was on that board. Exactly. Hitting. And I was like, yeah, so you've always had that ability, man. And
it's ability and it's the relationships.
Right, but you have to have the ability to get the relationships. Nobody don't want a relationship with nobody that don't have the ability. Whatever it is they trying to do. You can't get in the room if you don't have the ability or what it takes to be able to allow somebody next level to see that you have that something. Like you said, you got to like the song first for you to even say, hey. And I was listening and I was trying to figure, I'm wondering why wouldn't L.A. Reid sign them? Boy, they sound good, but it just probably didn't fit. I don't know.
There's a lot of artists that didn't get signed. Right. And to be honest with you, sometimes, think about it, Michael Jordan got cut.
Right, exactly.
Okay? But he didn't come back. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't ready. Right, and sometimes you're not ready. You might think you're ready. You can get put out there early and not have those experiences that you have now.
You just don't fit what they looking for, the system.
Right, the system.
They have a system. They need a certain type of player, a certain type of thing going on, and as much as we love to have you, we just can't really right now.
Right. So that's what I tell every artist, regardless whether you get signed by a major or people don't like you, you just got to go build your fan base. Right. I always look at Frankie Beverly Mays. Mays could go around every year and come do the same show, same place, and sell out every time because he had a base. Right. Artists don't build a fan base anymore. You know what I'm saying? Do your fans like you? Right. That's why you see the Cardi B's and some Nicki Minaj's. They have a base that will fight and do anything for them. You know what I'm saying? Those fans love them. Anything they put out, the Beehive, exactly. Those people have fans that will fight and anything they do, they're gonna support.
They're gonna support them. They all the way in with them.
Right.
Yeah. So shows like, I remember the Crawfish Fest was doing stuff like that. Do those venues still exist today? Not just so much the Crawfish Festival itself, but stuff like that. Are artists still performing in those?
They are, and those are like still what we call underground places. Okay. And you just have to find them. I come home sometime, I'll see somebody post something on social media. I'm like, where is this at? Right. This artist is a packed place. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's going to get back to that because to those type of places. There are still a little, if you want to call hole in the walls, the small places where, and that's where artists should start up from.
I've seen a video. I didn't know Snoop had a Southern Soul artist, and you've had a hand in helping that to the next level. He is like, he used to rap, right? He used
I'm
to
not
rap,
for sure.
but it's like because I watched the video and I was like, okay,
TONIO ARMANI.
I didn't even know that's almost an underground type of thing, but it's like
Southern Soul. It's pretty much started off like hip hop was. It had its own little thing, underground, not top to the major, you know. And so then like recently we took Boots on the Ground, and the crazy people say, "You work Boots on the Ground?" I work Boots on the Ground, but I always tell people I work a lot of great records, very few hits.
Right.
I work a lot of good records. Yes, I'm saying I'm in my that was a hit.
Right.
When I saying, first of all, the record, what he said, you worked radio. The record got top 10 on his own with no help at radio. Right. No marketing, just giving it out. When they got the top 10, they reached out to our team. I got Lionel right now. And we came on and we took it from 10 to 1. So I don't sit and try to take credit and be like, get this, but like Tony Amani, he's tied to Gamma, and Snoop's label is through Gamma, Death Row. So we worked the record, and shout out to Troy Marshall.
So is Gamma a major or independent? That, as you say,
Larry I would call it a major independent.
Okay, because that's what Mariah's plugged to, right?
Well, yes, Mariah is on Gamma.
Okay.
So Larry Jackson, the owner of the label, started off at worked at RCA, he worked at INTERSCOPE, and he was back behind the Apple thing. So he started Gamma, and he also has a distribution that a lot of you some artists may even call Video. So he bought the Video, the distribution label, the distributor, and then now he got Gamma, the label. So that's what Usher was on. So REID brought Usher over there. That's why we took that record #1. So it's going to Sexyy Red is over there. So we don't take all the Sexyy Red records. That's #1 we done.
So again, like you say, the testament of directly or indirectly quarterbacking or overseeing or coaching. You've had your hand in a lot of the artists that we know and love today. And that's what my mission is, to give the flowers to you today, because it would help someone coming along to be able to know a history, because ain't no sense of history being buried forever.
Right.
Some people need to know that moves were made other than the majors all the time. Right. You know, because how can you know as an independent who to look for? Right. How can I find this lawyer? Right. You know what I mean? If all I can keep getting trapped up in the major stuff. You know what I mean? I have to know that these people exist so that I can at least get my stuff together to be able to be attractive enough. My music is good enough, you know, to where you like it. And you say, hey, we can work you in this way, that way, or the other way. But you made it to this level. Exactly. And I think that's what it's all about, being able to come to the forefront and share these jewels with people, because again, it's intimidating trying to read them algorithms. You have the J. Howells that were not accepted at that time be discouraged in another form of person that may have something, may be the next Frankie Beverly May, who want to bring that old school back, but they just don't have the other part to be able to.
But I think what artists always look at, a lot of artists today look at the big artists and see they want to get to that level, but understand, there's a level down here you still can make a living. Right. Okay, when J. Howell came to me, he was living in Memphis. He moved and stayed with me for like 4 or 5 years. Once he got out, J. Howell's been able to buy his own car, got a brand new house. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people still don't know anything about him.
And he's still working.
But he's still working. So like I said, you got to everybody want to hit a home run. Right. You just got to bunt. You gotta get base hits.
The process. And I was one of those people who wanted to hit the home run. And I ended up taking myself out, man. And some people, you know, get hit with them bullets, man, out there tripping. Right. Because they feel like I'm gonna do this. Right. Rather than trusting the process and realizing you have someone who has your best interest. You have to learn character. You have to learn to be able to appreciate and just play your position. Right. Instead of we want to play all positions. Right. We can't quarterback and throw the ball to ourselves. Right. And I think it's become the detriment and the demise of a lot of good organizations, because somebody wants to come out front when that's not for you. Wait until we made
Play
these.
your position.
Yeah. When we get where we need to be, then you can go sell peanuts if you want to. But let's get here first.
Let me tell you, I can go work for you. I can work for Michael Watts. I learned to play my position. Sometimes you play, even with the role I play now, with my guy Lionel. Lionel runs is the team captain. I'm just one of the players on the team.
Right.
It's okay with me. It doesn't have to be me. As long as the ultimate goal of us winning is there. And a lot of times people don't know how to play their defined role.
Right.
And wherever you are. Right. So and one of my concepts, everybody who worked for me, my guys, we be in a meeting and we will argue. Right. Okay? Right. I'm the boss. Right. But we will argue, but guess what? Let's go have something to eat now because we're trying to win. Right. I never like yes men on my team. Don't give me a yes man because a yes man will get me a kill and make us lose the game. Right. Because they just agreeing with everything that I say.
You're saying, you're not really getting the full.
I need to know your opinion. Right. I need to know what your thought process is.
And you have four corners. You got a corner on each light. If you at the passenger backside, you don't know what the collision was on the driver front side. Right. So it takes all sides to be able to bring that forensic together, to be able to say, hey, this is what happened. Because we hear you, but you didn't see that. You're swearing by it, but you don't have the whole picture. So it takes a team to be able to bring all things together and cover those grounds. So that's a jewel that I had to pick up in bunks. But I'm not, I don't blame anyone. I don't even blame myself. I feel like that was a time that my life called for. Right. Because it could have easily went that way. I could have been the top dog, but it wasn't my story. You know, man, case in point, I'm out on bond. Now, Slim Thug's sister, Nelwyn, now I know them real well. I used to take Slim to school. My buddy, D, is Slim's sister, Nelwyn's baby daddy of the oldest girl. Nelwyn brought Slim to me one day. Now I'm just disassociated with y'all. I'm fit to be having to go turn myself in. She said, my brother can rap. Now I haven't seen Slim since he was young. He was like, I'm looking at Slim like this. Big old afro, bullhorn. He say, I can rap. I think the guy was T. Gray. You remember T. Gray?
Yeah, I know T. Gray.
I think T. Gray stayed behind Park Lane back there and them homes back there. If I'm not mistaken. Well, because we used to put some tapes and stuff in consignment right there at the tape store on Gulf Bank in Antoine. I forgot the name of Selected Sounds, I think. Right. So he's like, I can rap. So Slim said, man, LA, come on over here with me. So I go around there. I think it's T. Gray. I don't want to mix up with whoever was a DJ. And the little dude's daddy said, man, I gotta go to work. Y'all ain't coming in here with that nonsense. So I didn't really get to hear him. And I was like, man, well, I didn't even have connection anymore, or I would have sent them your way. But,
But even then, everything worked out for everybody the best way it's supposed to happen. See, sometimes, who knows what I could have did or whatever. But it's always, you just never know. You never know. And the whole thing is about anybody. You got to believe in yourself. Right. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And so the fact that it's Slim or anybody do, because guess what? My road has always been, people tell me, like I said, if my mom to everybody, when I first came to DJ, I need to get a real job. Right. You know what I'm saying? And most of anybody's in the music end or anything that you did. You heard that. Sometimes your parents only can see what they been.
They see their child and you got to go to school, get your job.
I posted something the other day on my Facebook page. I said my mom used to say I was hard-headed, but she never knew where I was headed.
Right, that's a good one.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. So, let me ask you this. What made you choose Memphis? I was always wondering, why Memphis?
Man, I didn't choose Memphis. Memphis chose me.
Okay.
Because at that time, when I left Rap-A-Lot, well, I didn't leave Rap-A-Lot. Rap-A-Lot had signed a deal with Virgin Records, and I interviewed for the job to be a record rep out of Dallas, but they hired someone else. Right. So at that time, the guy, friend of mine, Michael Redwine, had told me that, hey, man, we got to, you want to be on the record side, I can put you in an interview for Interscope. The guy, Tommy Marshall, who lives in Jackson, Mississippi, worked that region. So they were placing somebody in Memphis. So that's where I was going to be in Memphis and work Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi. So that's where I would be headquarters at. So that's why I moved to Memphis.
So that brings
and then everybody told me I was crazy. Man, you going to Memphis? Right. Sometimes you got to take 2 steps back to take 10 steps forward.
Now let me ask this: what sparked the Interscope move to the Rock Nation move? What was that about?
Well, no, I left Interscope in 2011, and then I just doing straight independent and everything, and then I got a call from.
So this was the time you were working with Gotti?
Oh no, this is just me, just straight independent artist. I was never just working for one person. Like people would call me and say, "Hey Lester, man, I got this record, I want to work." So I was a freelance for anybody. You know, if anybody got a marketing budget and want to go to radio, they would give me a call, or one of my friends will call me, and we all work the music together. So I was pretty much 6-7 years straight independent, and then I got a call from Sherry, who was the president of the radio. I mean, of Rock Nation. And she was looking for somebody to do radio on my name from my guy Arnold Taylor, another couple other people told me about me, so she reached out to me. So that's how that situation came up.
That's good. Well, man, I don't want to hold you. I asked a lot. If it's anything you want to say, that you want to share, that you want to, bring.
I want to get ready to bring my man Michael Watson here. Because I brought him out here with me, guys. So me and Mike go back. And like you giving my flowers. I want to give my flowers to my brother. Because he's, and let you talk to him. But it's a lot of people. Sometimes, people never get idea. He's got his own YouTube. I did an interview with Mad Hatter, and extemporaneously he asked, me answering the question that he asked. He said, "How do I define success?" And just blind out by helping other people become successful. That's where I get mine at. It's not about if somebody I passed it in, man, less now, because anybody know me, I think I'm a giver and I try to help people out. And sometimes it's not the monetary side for me. The money's gonna come. But the most important thing has always been my name. My name, it means more to me than I tell people than a dollar or anything like that. Because as long as my name is good, I can always make money. I can always make money. So that's the thing I want to do. I want to tell any of those artists out there that are listening to this thing, don't give up on yourself and start building a team. Start building a team, and don't worry. And even in, like a prime example, you might make records right now, and then 5 years later, that record still can be good. Because I always tell my artist, Jay, how he's like, man, I say, dude, only 0.00000.1% of the world has heard your music. Okay, so what's old to you is still new to them. And it's funny, I'm working a guy, a good friend of mine's artist named Sean Milley right now, R&B cat. His record, congratulations, Sean, top 20 today. We done got a top 20 on the chart.
R&B or rap?
R&B. Yeah, listen to him, Sean Milley.
I heard the name.
Yeah, Sean Milley. So the record that he put out, I just told him one of my programs, I said, this record came out in 2019. Okay, it's been out there long. But it's still new to the people that never heard it. So my thing to artists is they got to put in the work, man.
Got to put in the work
and build a team.
You got to
build a team.
That's the only way That's the only way people gonna see you, and recognize you, and know you. You have to put in the work and build that name, because name is legacy, name is wealth, name is foundation, name is everything. And as long as it's intact and has integrity connected to it, it'll get you in places that your money can't.
The money can't, that's right.
Exactly.
That's true.
And that's what I believe, and I understand that. And now, coming up, I didn't really have a
But
clue.
Hey, the older we get, the more we learn.
We want to thank my brother, my friend, my mentor, my OG, Lester Pace, for coming by and dropping the jewels and giving us the info and the insight on how to take your game to the next level, so that you can be understood and heard in the industry, and so that you don't have to take no wood nickels, as they used to say. You can be on your P's and Q's and on your game, and know that you have a team. Don't sell yourself short like I did early and take yourself out. You got to be on point. You got to be ready, because it's easy to, as they say, let somebody trick you out the bag. It's easy. And it don't always have to be you. It could be somebody around you that's trying to get you moving around, because they don't think you that person. So I want to thank Lester for coming, man. I appreciate you for stepping in and kicking it with me and letting me know that, it's real. So now we want to kind of segue into a brother that I hold dear to my heart, because when I met him, and anybody at the time that Lester introduced to me, I learned that they were worth and had value. So Michael Watts has been an innovator to me in the Houston segment, the same way as Brother Lester has, but in his own art and craft and in his own talent. He took a lot of flack from the people who were trying to misconstrue what he was doing, thinking he was trying to steal Screw's legacy, but he was really taking the torch and just bringing it to the north side so that the guys can have an opportunity to not have to always be dissed and be jamming that music while they getting dissed, because it was a heavy in the paint type of thing with North and South Side.
Right.
You know, it was a plex type thing. But I think this brother didn't exclude anybody. He let it be North and South. He just took it further and then allowed the, chopped it. Well, I don't want to say screwed. Well, it was chopped and mixed, slowed down and chopped music, because you know people get touchy. People get touchy with that because
when you say
comprehension is very kind of it's different.
Yeah, that's true.
It's different.